Hello everyone, my name is SiC. Welcome back to Factorio Space Age. And we are still on Nauvis. I'm currently still working on our rocket towards Aquilo, but we also have a new problem on Gliba to fix because some of the belts are not emptying out quickly enough. But in the meantime, I also had to fix a problem in our Nauvis base because the steel here was running out quite low because, well, we used a ton of this stuff, of course, to make our Aquilo rocket. Now it's backed up again, but essentially we were running low on steel. And we were running low on steel because we were running low on iron ore, but as you can see, that is no longer the case. We have a ton of iron ore streaming in, and partly that is because I have expanded up north once again. Because, yeah, our iron patches were running a little bit thin. There was one over here somewhere that basically was empty, only produced a few hundred every time that the train made its round. Of course, we have some down here that we could use, but we are kind of like using them in dedicated smelteries, so I didn't really want to take away from them too much. And this one, though, is being used. This is a proper iron ore mine, and that one is being used to its full ability, but we definitely needed a little bit more. So, yeah, I broke through the wall here and I extended our train network towards this iron patch over here. And of course I put down some radars, and lo and behold, I found that this world kind of continues over until like this little bottleneck. And we had some oil and we had some copper ore here. So I figured I would build a wall here of lasers and flamethrowers. I deleted the old repairs input number 5 and put it down over here so the train can just keep going through its usual circle. Though we do have the wrong turrets here, I guess. So that is something that we might need to fix, but also it might not really be necessary because we do have oil coming in through here. And of course a new oil train is then also being routed along this path. Because oil, as they do, they kind of run out over time. So that is something we need to secure more of over time as well. Luckily, there's another patch here and another patch there. There's more iron ore up here with another choke point. A choke point here and a choke point there. So if we need the space or the resources, we could expand over in this direction as well in the future. But for now, I don't think it is necessary. We have coal still over here as well. Uranium ore, but look at the size of our factory, man. It is honestly, it is just huge. Absolutely huge. Alright, that one still has. It was red for a second, but that's just because it's not working. But yeah, let's zoom out on the scale. Look at the scale of this thing. It's honestly, it's just kind of nuts. But I love it. That's what we're here for. But yeah, on Gliba, the planet of Gliba, our eggs are hatching because this stuff is not being cleared fast enough, as you can see. So this is something that we might want to, well, maybe if we filter out some of the, what is this stuff that is coming up here on this belt? That is, oh, I forgot the name, but I know it is bioflux. Let's just take off some bioflux here as well, because this is going to decay, and this way it just kind of keeps going because this is just really bad. And the same thing over here, we have bioflux. Why is there bioflux on this belt? Right, so we have right, this should be only rocket fuel. Man, it's important to set up good filters in advance of this map, because this is just kind of fucked up. Because we definitely do not need this stuff on here. Alright, this is all just going towards the rockets, so we are going to need... Oh man, yeah, we don't have enough of this stuff coming in. Right. But first of all, let me just put down this thing here and we'll filter out spoilage. Like so. And then the spoilage needs to go onto a belt. Can go onto that belt right about there. Well, actually, let me go down this way and I'll hook this up and then we'll do it like that, and that will be perfect. Alright, so that takes care of a lot of spoilage on this belt anyway. We just need to kickstart. Yeah, look at that, that is just really bad. We need to kickstart the production of nutrients over on this thing. So what if, I don't know if we have another biochamber in here. But let us say we can actually build this. We'll get some nutrients from spoilage. And we do indeed get a little bit lucky here. There is still one available. We'll see if this one can be brought over as well. And then we need to get rid of the spoilage on this belt as well. So spoilage, here we go. Filter you out. And then we need to get that spoilage. Let's see. There's no good way to get rid of it here, I guess. Well, actually there is, because it can just go onto this belt, right? Yes. Yes, I think so. Man, and all of this is kind of stuck as well, because we're not getting enough of this stuff in here. Alright, so I'll see what I can do, and then I'll be right back. Alright, well, this is up and running again. We have the spoilage on this belt being taken out, and we have some nutrients being taken from this belt. So, hopefully again at this point we'll have an eternally running machine. That would be great. Also, maybe we should replace these with the big stack inserters, because we have a lot more nutrients than we are. Yeah, and we can put one of those things in here. If there is still one available. There is indeed. Well, this is being repeated across here, I suppose. So maybe this one here is not really necessary. So we'll take that one out. That gives us one back in storage, right? And then all of this is running again properly. Alright, so this is going over in this direction to go over here. And then we really do need the nutrients over on this side as well. So where are the nutrients being taken from on this? So we are putting this thing back out here, and then I guess nutrients were supposed to be here down in this space. I think I need to travel to this planet again to set it up properly, unfortunately. Alright, I have arrived back on the platform, and that should now be going towards... Well, actually that is not entirely true. It is requesting low density structures, but then after that, yeah, we're going on our way to Gliba. So, and this stuff is already arriving. Yeah, I was going to say something about this place, but I don't quite remember what I was going to say. So I think for now we're done here. I'm putting in some productivity modules or speed modules, which I had not done before, which is something I really should have done, as I did do it in the other ones. And yeah, I guess we're just going on our way to Gliba, and I'll see you guys there. No, I remember now. I'm researching advanced asteroid processing, because that one gives us access to copper ore in space, which means we can make better ammo up there. It also gives us access to sulfur, it gives us access to calcite, And I guess we can use advanced thruster fuel with carbon, calcite and water. And that produces more thruster fuel. Interesting. Alright, and the same thing, yeah, with advanced thruster oxidizer if we use iron ore and calcite. So that will greatly expand the kind of stuff that we can do on the Aquila rocket, because that one needs to be faster, it needs to have better ammo, and all of that. So also we have asteroid reprocessing, so that we can get more products out of these materials, I think. But that's another thing that we need to look into, but first of all we're going to fix Gleba again. We have arrived and the bots are doing their thing and resupplying us, which is great. Now actually I do not want this many robots anymore. I had that only because I wanted them to bring me some to bring to my new outpost on Nauvis. But in here we really don't want this many bots. So let's have them take them away and then let's start fixing our problems here. Because yeah, for sure this belt just needs to be emptied. And that is an eternal struggle, it seems. Which is a little bit annoying, but hey, we'll make it work. With this belt emptied, that now makes some space at least for our nutrients to come back in. Well, look at this. This is also, there are some seeds in here which really should not be in here. All of this, however, I think should be spoilage. Should it be? No, it really should not be. Alright, so that is a ton of spoilage in our pockets. That's honestly kind of insane. Alright. Let's go like this. That needed to be emptied out. Maybe there's a way to empty out these belts by robots, but so far I haven't found it. Yeah, so this takes out that spoilage, and so that makes perfect sense. However, I think we do need some of these things in here to start making some more nutrients. At least we will make one of these. One biochamber that is going to use these things to make nutrients. And I guess we can make that one over here, I suppose. Yeah, I'll set that up and I'll be right back. Before we can continue with the spaceship, we need to finish advanced asteroid processing, I think, so that we can get all of the materials that are necessary up there. But yeah, we just basically need a lot of green science from Gleba, and that has been arriving steadily over time. We have 600 or something on the belt right now, so all of these are slowly snaking through the laboratories and speeding up the science. But then we also still have a couple more in here, a few hundred, not that many, but it's still going to increase the science by a little bit. So essentially we're just playing the waiting game here, 2.5 minutes, and then we can maybe get started on the spaceship, or at least, well, continue, because we already have this entire thing set up and this works. This is doing exactly what we want it to do. So yeah, let's find out in just a second. Well, advanced asteroid reprocessing is done, and I think that is used in the crushers, maybe. Not entirely sure, because I've never reached this far into the game yet, of course, so we're going to go ahead and find out. Where are the crushers, though? Wait, here. Yes, that makes sense. Alright, let's have a look. Yes, indeed. Alright, so now, when we use this one metallic asteroid chunk is going to produce 10 iron ore, 4 copper ore, and 5% metallic asteroid chunk percentage chance. That is kind of nuts. And then the other one, the carbonic asteroid chunk, is going to provide us with carbon, sulfur, and more carbonic asteroid chunks. And the asteroid chunk with ice and calcite. 3 ice, 2 calcite. Alright, well, that is going to complicate things quite significantly. So let's go ahead and make a couple of these. And let us see what we can do here. So we're going to make, let's leave a little bit of space in between, maybe a little bit more even. Well, first of all, let's set this to that, right? So we're going to input those parts. We're going to use a filter on this one. We're only going to be putting back that stuff. We don't want the other things in here. That kind of sucks, because we already have things in here now that we do not want. And that is never going to be removed. Huh. Interesting. Should have done that first. Let me fix that. Alright, well, those few things have been filtered out. So we can now remove these. And we can just dump these back down to the planet. And over here I put some fast inserters, or not fast inserters, the bulk inserters. And we're filtering out to the different ores over here. So we can continue this maybe a few more times. And then we will, well, first of all, let's see how much this gets us, right? Because we need to start smelting some things here. And for that, we are going to use the electronic furnaces. And let's just say we will put them down over here. And I guess we can just go along the back here. Alright, like so. And then we'll get some fast inserters along the way, of course. And these will start smelting the iron plates. And then we just need to be outputting them over here. And I guess we could do a double line like that. So if we have this one, we'll have these things over here. And then we'll just have the single output down over here. And I guess, well, we do need to have this moved over, I suppose. Yeah, and this one, it needs to be emptied as well before it can do anything else, I guess. So that is interesting. Let us see, we need a few of those up here. I guess I didn't send them yet, so those are now requested. Okay, we need these a little bit higher, I guess. Like so. Because then we can put another splitter right there. And then these ones can go like so. And then we'll set the smelting up over on the other side for the copper as well, because we are going to need those for the piercing rounds magazines as well as steel plates. So that is going to be interesting. Well, I hooked 6 of these things up in total now, and yeah, this is not the prettiest layout, I suppose, but it's going to work. We have iron ore coming past these smelters, and the output of this is going into a steel smelter over here, and of course the copper ore is being turned into copper plates, and then we have another one of these smelters down below that is making iron plates again, and these iron plates are going to be used for the ammo. So we need to start making some ammo. First of all though, let's put a little design that requires the 3 inputs, because here we will be making the piercing round magazines. We don't need that many of each thing, I suppose. So we will, let's see, we're going to split this. Yeah, because I kind of want the steel and the copper to be split. I suppose we kind of need a little bit more space than we have right there. Right, so we're going to go ahead and build this like that. And then we'll have, okay, well, we cannot have this not being mirrored nicely, of course, so we're going to go ahead and make this like that, and then we'll have maybe we need to... it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out, I guess. We'll go like this. Go like this. Yeah, alright, this is maybe not the best design in the world, but let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, we'll go like so. This is going to go like that, and then of course we need some machines to make... Yeah, no, I'm not happy with this design. I'll come up with a better design where I can distribute these a little bit better. Alright, well, I realized we have this little corner over here that could be much nicer to use for this. So instead we're going to go and make the regular ammo over here. And we're going to make 5 of these as well. And we're going to have an input in the center. Right, so that we can have these things coming over like so, and then we'll have these things over here in the center. We'll have, of course, the outputs, right, and then we'll have this come up. This is going to end right there. And then, well, we're going to have these things over here. We're going to go sideways. And this is going to end up over here. So then from here on, we will make the ammo, and hopefully, but I kind of doubt it, this is going to be enough production for that. But once it's made, it's going to go down over here, and it's being distributed along this belt, and then it's going to feed all of our turrets. And hopefully that is going to be enough, but we are going to have to wait and see. Of course, we do need more power than we currently produce. And especially where we are going in this space, there is not going to be a lot of sunlight. So we are going to have to make a different power source. Other than solar panels, I mean. Right, and of course we can have a bunch of these, and we'll go ahead and build them in like little corners wherever we can. Because, yeah, we can, and so we really should. Right, so we'll put a few in here, we'll have a little row over there. And then we are building up this nice big factory. And this could definitely be improved, or we could have a lot more, I don't know. This is, however, going pretty well. And I think we should probably double this production area, I suppose. Because we are producing way more than we need, and like this is not going to cut it. And we are already running out of space here a little bit. So we might really need to increase our production. And also we need to leave space to get the other materials off of this belt, because yeah, we are already kind of like hamstringing ourselves. And that is a bit of a problem. It's not insurmountable yet, but this is definitely not going to be easy either. Alright, well. We could, of course, also decide that we are going to put half of these things onto the belt as well, and then it's going to be one of each. But the problem is, it's going to only have one ammo type loaded, so it might only have one magazine, and then it, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's going to work out really well. So that is something we need to deal with. And then maybe we need to move this entire thing over to the side so we can have some room to take off the other materials. And yeah, I think we're definitely going to have to increase the size of our ship. The next thing to do, I guess, is to use the carbonic asteroid chunks. And with that we are making carbon as well as sulfur, and I'm not entirely sure yet what we need them for, but hey, we'll find a way to make it work, right? And this immediately was a mistake. I need to learn not to do that. Because we need proper outputs for this stuff. Alright, so we're going to put some out. Right as I say that, I do it again. Turn them and then put filters on them. Thank you. Alright, so we are producing sulfur. And then we are going to produce carbon out here. So the carbon is going to go like that. And then of course we need a proper output for the chunks again, which is a little bit problematic because this whole thing probably needs to be over to the side just a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and copy this. Right, maybe, no, it's copied, I can just delete this right now. And now we're going to paste it again, but we're going to leave just that little gap so that we can output the other product, the other the carbonic asteroid chunks again, because we kind of need to get rid of them. And then I guess we can put those just straight back where they came from. And again, now we're going to grab one of these. We're going to be putting that filter on here. There we go. And then all of these can be turned. And now we just need to combine them onto the same belts. Now, if I remember correctly, we can use the sulfur the way we did it on Volcanus, but I'm not entirely sure what we did with that sulfur. Right, it's straight up sulfuric acid, which then can be turned into steam. Right, that's the thing. Right, because we want to be making steam, and the way to do that is to we can condense that into water. But we don't want to. We can use that steam to make power up here, I think. So let's also order some steam engines up here. We don't need the boilers. We can just use the straight up steam engines. And then I need to hook this up. Alright, so I'll be right back. Well, that plan goes out the window because we cannot have steam up on this platform. So that is going to be interesting. So then I'm not entirely sure yet what I need to use the sulfur for. That is a bit of a puzzle. But in the meantime, we should also probably make sure that we that we have the ability to get the ice out of here as well. Because all of this is now pretty full. Now we can get it out of here. So if we use this filter to search for these chunks, we can have them put out like so. And then we're going to go ahead and we can go like so. Alright, and then here we are, the long way around, but it's fine, you know? It's fine. Alright, so we'll go ahead and, well, I guess we're going to use all of the ice products over in this corner of the base. So we can leave some space for the other stuff. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and copy these. And again, we should leave some space here. And I think here we should also leave a little bit more space than I've done before. And then this is going to go like so. Alright, and then we're going to have inputs. And then we're going to have some outputs. And these are going to filter out the oxidizer chunks again. Right, we need another one. And these things then of course are going to be making ice, calcite and so on. There we go. And then we're going to do the same little dance again with the filter setup. Well, I think I found out what we need to use sulfur for, and that is the rocket turrets. And for that we need sulfur, carbon and water. So yeah, of course the rocket turrets do need to be made somewhere else, and I think that these are very worthwhile. So we're going to go ahead and research those, and for that we also need the carbon fiber, which I have researched but I have not produced yet. So that will be interesting as well. And after that comes Planet Discovery Aquilo, and then we also get access to the Spidertron, which will be really cool. Anyway, let's see, let's have a look at Novice. Is it still researching, or is all of this stuff, yeah, this has gone bad. Look at that, all of that space science wasted because we were not researching anything with it. Of course I did put some heating towers here so that all of that stuff is immediately burned. And that keeps our stuff endlessly flowing, which is great. We are producing enough to basically keep all of the labs going now apparently, which is also really nice. And over here we are being attacked, but we are managing just fine. Alright. Also so far Novice has not stopped again. Everything is still working, so that is great to see. I think we might have finally fixed our problems, maybe. But then carbon, and yeah, let's continue with the thruster fuel and all of that. So for that we need carbon, calcite and water. So first of all, let us make water in chemical plants. All right, we're going to go ahead and I guess we'll make them like so. Now we have 3 of these, so that might be way too much, but we'll find out, I guess. Alright, and then we'll set up a little system here where we have this set up like so. Like I always do, because that works great. And then we'll have to input these. Alright, and then here we are going to turn this into water. And let's see if this is enough, right? And then of course we are going to need some tanks to pump all of this stuff into, so we'll make that on the side here, I guess. Just like so. There we go. We have water coming in. And then that water needs to be used. But before we go ahead and do that, this stuff needs to go back onto the belt. Like so. We'll pick up that little thing, and then that is working. So all of that calcite now also needs to go somewhere. And of course for that we are going to be using a little setup over here. Let's see. So if we want to make, let's start with this one, water, iron ore and calcite. We'll go ahead and set this up like so. We only have, well, we have an input like this. And then we'll have some long-handed inserters as well. And then we need to combine iron ore and calcite onto a single belt. And then we're going to keep this thing going over here. And let's see, this thing is hooked up to the red one, so actually this kind of needs to be going over in this direction. But that's okay, we can manage. Let's see. Alright, so there we go. So that will be all of that fuel. And I'll set this up and I'll be right back. Well, this is set up for now, but what I'm running into is we are not producing any iron ore anymore. And we are not producing any iron ore because we are full up on copper ore. So we actually need to void some of this stuff. And that is easily done. We just need to bring some of this copper ore over here onto this belt, and then that will be fine. And of course then we need to figure out a way to do that, so I guess we can go underground here. Yeah, that will be fine, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and turn this way, and this is going to go up, and then that is going to work just fine, I suppose. Though we might do this little setup that I usually do, because it looks nice. But then we just need to make sure that this also still has a way of getting around here. Look at that. Now this is going to be emptied out, and that means all of this can start producing again, and then we just need to make sure that we have enough of this stuff coming in to feed all of our smelters and still feed onto this belt right there, because that might be an issue. So I guess we're going to find out. Look at that though. It's a lot of excess. Right. Alright, so we'll just have to wait and see for that one a little bit. Well, to speed things up a little bit, I'm putting some of these asteroid collectors on the side here, but I am only filtering out the metallic asteroid chunks because in honesty that is all that I want, and all of those things that are collected here, which is honestly going to be very little at this moment, is going to go down onto this belt and straight onto this area. So after that, all that is left to do is hook this thing up to the water supply, because apparently I had not done that yet, but here we go. And then after that, all of this can start producing something. Yeah, just a very little amount, but hey, it is something. And after that I set up the same thing but for the thruster fuel. So now we have the oxidizer, thruster oxidizer and the thruster fuel, and hopefully the production of this should now increase significantly. However, why is this not producing? Because we still don't have enough iron ore. So it has produced a little bit, I suppose, but not quite enough. And that means we definitely need to increase the amount of iron ore that is being put through here. But I don't think we will be able to do that unless we basically start flying somewhere, because yeah, there is just not enough stuff going on here once we start making the special ore. And what is going on here? Why are there regular plates on here? That should never happen. So we'll just remove those for now. Now we'll go like this. And yeah, then I think for now we have done most of the things that we need to do to get this thing flying. Except, of course, as you can see, we really don't have enough ammo to supply all of our turrets yet. So we are still waiting for ammo and these turrets over here, let alone these turrets over here. So that is definitely an issue. This just has a little bit of startup time. Why are you not grabbing this? Is that not the right type of thing? I thought it was. Anyway, I'll try to set up another one of these things and then I'll be right back. Well, I set up a few more. I put them on the wings and on the side here as well, and all of these are feeding back into the same few belts that will then exclusively be bringing these iron ore chunks. I'm making a very dumb mistake here. Yeah, we definitely don't want to be doing this. We need to turn this into iron ore. We don't need the chunks. That's what's going on here. So we'll go ahead and then, yeah, we'll break this up. And then we'll set up a little thing over here. Alright, so we'll go like this. Here I am wandering. Alright, here we go. So we need some crushers. Right, and these are just going to be making iron ore. And then we need an output belt. And we'll also grab an input belt that is going to bring some of these chunks back. So we'll go ahead and filter these back to metallic asteroid chunks. And then we'll filter out the iron ore on these. Alright, and then we'll just need to bring this down a little bit more. We'll install these over here. And then the iron ore is going to loop back onto itself for just a second. And then from there, we'll go underneath over here, like so. And then that should fix our iron ore problems, and with that we will start making thruster oxidizer. And hopefully this is going to be enough to basically keep this running, because we have some of these chunks coming in from all over the place right now, and I think we should be okay. So this is now producing, this is producing, and we do need, I guess, to maybe void this for the time being, because it prevents this carbon from being produced. And because these resources are free, you know, this doesn't really hurt us in any way. So we'll just void them for the time being, so that at least the carbon can keep running, and then once we need to start making rockets on this place, then we can start using it instead. Alright, and I think with that, for now, I think this video is long enough, so thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and a comment below if you enjoyed this content and wish to see more, and I will see you guys for whatever video I do next.